Good evening, everyone. How are we all? So, very fortunate tonight because I get to have a chat to a special guest called Barbara Clifford. She's going to be joining me very soon. I'm just waiting for her to come in so I can invite her when she starts watching. Barbara is from Alice Springs and I'm in Darwin. So, together we can have a chat. I'm adding her right now. We can have a chat. All things digital. Thank you for joining us. Everyone's coming on. Good to see you all here. Thank you. Says, here she is. Hello there.
Hi.
Can you hear me
How you going?
okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I can, absolutely. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I was
We
just
did
saying
it.
that
We
you're,
made
I
it.
know, with no errors the first time round. This is amazing. Love it. And I was just telling the audience that you are from Alice Springs.
I am. I'm in the heart of Australia, so down south, holding you guys up.
Thank you. That's awesome. And you have a really interesting business name, which I love, called The Time Tamer. Have I got that right?
Yeah, you have.
Can you tell
Yeah.
us about that? Tell us about The Time Tamer.
So my passion is around creating order out of chaos. It's about making sense of things, is getting on top of things, alleviating overwhelm. So it's really about taming your time and getting back in control. And what I recognized in starting that business, in when I first started, was what went hand in hand with time management was also stress management, and so that became a big part of my business as well. So that it's the umbrella of what I do is time management and stress management, but underneath that comes things like leadership, communication, and part of it is getting organized in that digital space.
Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat, can you believe? Right when we're starting.
Yeah,
So I have to cough too.
good.
Oh, that always happens to me right at the beginning.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome. I love that. So you would, like I do, get to speak to lots of small business owners. Do you find there's most of your business owners that you're speaking to are from Alice Springs, or do you get to speak to others around the place as well?
No, yeah, I do. I do. In fact, I've got some clients that I work with that are in Darwin. So it's interesting, isn't it? I bet you may. Do you have people in Alice Springs
Not
that
yet.
you work with?
No, not yet. There's
Yeah,
a couple that I'm talking to that are from Catherine, but haven't
yeah.
ventured as far south as Alice Springs yet. So, to be honest, at this point, I think I would introduce them to you because those people that don't know, there are some crossovers between what I do and what Barbara does, and that's because we do work in the same program. It's the ASBAS program for short, but it's the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions Program, proudly an
It's
initiative of the Australian government. It's a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah, we almost needed to be tested on whether we could say that in one go before we were able to become these advisors. But because of that, we do have a crossover, which is great. But we can also work together because I'm sure you can attest, and others that are watching will realize that the digital space and the things that we all need to learn about for small businesses is huge. There are so many different areas, and you just can't know all things.
And look, like what we were talking about before the call as well, is that you see, my specialty is with small business and with middle management. Is they're the two focus areas that I work on with my business. And what I found with small business is that they they get so influenced by what the big guys are doing and think that things are outside of their reach. And I'm really passionate. I'm a small business too, and so I'm passionate about finding things that are cheap, that are free, that are easy, that are simple for one person or a very small business of a few people to be able to utilize and not be overcomplicated or have things that aren't relevant or not useful. So I'm passionate about finding those tools and resources that make life easy. And you know, one of the things, as small as Alice Springs is, it doesn't take long to drive anywhere. I was having meetings with somebody that I'm doing a joint venture with in Alice Springs, and we got to the point where it was, and this is not uncommon, got to the point where it was, let's just Zoom because it's so much more productive just to
Yes.
be able to do stuff and share stuff on your computer, share screens, have a look at this, I'll pull this up. It's more productive, even though we're in the same town.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. In fact, I had two back-to-back sessions today and my laptop went flat. So then in my head, I was thinking, oh, if this was an online chat, then I could have plugged it in at home and I wouldn't have that problem. So a mental note, take your charge everywhere you go. But you're right, we're the same. Everything's 15 minutes away. And yet we still go, oh, wouldn't it be easier if we just did this online or we just had a call? So even though I love the one-to-one interaction as well, I think these days it is absolutely possible to do it, remotely. So you can speak to anyone, anywhere.
Yeah, that's it. And that's the beautiful thing I think too about business and talking about some of those differences and challenges. I used to live in WA and WA felt isolated. And Northern Territory, I think, can feel like it's outback and and you can also have a reputation when you're talking with people outside of the territory. When I'm talking to potential clients, then they're saying, "Oh, you're in Alice Springs." So it's almost like you can't be serious, useful because you live in Alice Springs. But it doesn't, the isolation doesn't have to exist for us in business. There's so much resource and tools that can connect us now that you just
Yeah,
don't need it. People don't realize. Yeah.
absolutely love that. Yeah. So talk to me and our audience about some of the conversations that you are having with these small businesses. What are the things that they're saying to you that they're looking for help with?
I think again, like we were saying, is for me, I'm passionate about marketing and the value proposition that businesses have to offer. So we in talking to them, they're wanting to get in the game. They want to be doing Facebook advertising. They want to be doing blogging. They want to have a website. All these things that people tell them that they should be having. And I think that there are some things that you can do that don't need to go on that high scale. You don't need to go all the way up. And we were having a conversation about blogging and about the relevance of blogging. And I've always been blogging and teaching it and advocating it. And in just in the last couple of days, that's really been challenged. I'm thinking, is it the be all and end all for business? I know it is for SEO, but for me, coming from, as I mentioned to you, coming from Brisbane to Alice Springs, I recognise that word of mouth and creating that trust and rapport is so much more important. So for me, in having those conversations with business, it's helping them change perspective and helping them to realise what's unique about where we are and where we live and what we have to offer, and understanding that there's value in knowing your market, knowing your
Yeah.
region.
Yeah, I think you make some really valid points there, because whilst fundamentally a lot of businesses are similar, and us digital people, our digital marketers, we tend to talk about lots of different things and lots of different strategies, but it's not going to work for everyone. And even before you mentioned, you don't have to keep up with the big guys. That is true. Like to have an understanding of it is excellent. But as a small business owner, you don't need to be able to take on all of those things that we talk about all the time and implement those things in your business straight away. The social media and marketing online and websites and all the things you've also mentioned, SEO, blogs, it's a build to get to a point where you can grow the business further and further. So yeah, really valid points there. What just touching on blogs, shall we share with our audience? We might even have some of the people watching that were involved in this engaging conversation that we had online. Barbara has a group, if anyone's interested in joining it, called the Northern Territory Business Group, where she posts a lot of content with tips and tricks, and it's quite engaging. So anyone that wants to join. But so it started because I shared into that to that group a question saying, a serious question. Are there any local businesses or organisations out there that write blogs or articles which I could go and take a look at and then I could share on my page so that it could reach more people? Because I was quite curious about that. Now, I said blogs or articles being quite generic, but somebody did come on and say, look, that's so old school. Nobody does that anymore. We now do, I think he may have said video content, or maybe we started that conversation. And so, yeah, it does get your mind questioning that. And in my view, I have a view, is that